So we should just get into this whole thing that KCS out of Philly. Dude, I forget your name. I'm sorry. Is it Kevin? I'm a moron. Anyway, super good guy. Does a live every Tuesday, I think. A bunch of dudes get on there and shoot the shit. It's good stuff. Anyway, you should follow him if you don't. I'll tag him in this. My thoughts, not yours. Anyway, he brought up the point of what do you do about inspectors that fail stuff that you know is BS, which has happened here quite a few times. In our plumbing code, it says that grease traps are not supposed to receive any organic material. That's Canada-wide. Well, Calgary has decided that they want grease traps on everything, including dishwashers. And so we've done, dozens. We do dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of restaurants, and these inspectors are going around and saying, "You need to install this immediately." They give them 90 days, or they're going to fine them. And we've tried to fight it because it's absolute BS. In fact, there's one that you may notice on our stories is very familiar because I put it in the ground and it has a orifice, obviously, and every week or so we got to go fish shrimp or broccoli or carrots out of it because it backs up the whole recruit. It's ridiculous, and so we can't change it because it's in the actual concrete. I'm gonna actually, drill out like a 4-inch hole in it so that it stops happening. And that's the reason the code says not to put it on organic material. So what we have done is we literally, the inspector says install this. So I have one in my barn, a Canplast low flow, which is our, a bait and switch grease trap. We literally install it. The inspector comes and signs off on it, and then we take it out. Clean it up, and you wait for the next one to bitch. So we do have a bit of clearly there's risks involved in that. We're letting our customers know what's going on, blah, 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 blah. They also want here the grease traps cleaned every month, which again is ridiculous in my mind. I don't know why I'm going off on grease traps. That's the one that came up into my mind. You absolutely have the right to challenge that if you know you're right. If you can prove in the code where it is, and unless they have some stupid bylaw, and I have yet to see the bylaw. I've asked for it. I've demanded it, and nobody can provide it for me. They just said, this is what we're doing. Well, is that how we do code and laws these days? We just decide. It's not written down anywhere. You can't send me chapter and verse. It's absolute BS. So here we have a group of inspectors, and then we have the chief inspector, and that's as high as we're allowed to go, is the chief inspector. And we have a pretty good relationship with that dude. We don't call him every week or anything like that. In fact, I rarely call him anymore because we do mostly service, so we don't really run across too many inspections. They do want you to pull permits for everything, from hot water tanks to tap replacements, and we just don't do it. I don't play that game. It just adds to the cost of everything that needs to be done, which is the point I want to make here, is that it's in the next decade, I think you will see most municipalities switch from having full-time inspectors, which is a huge drain on their resources, because they have to pay all those dudes union rates and all the crap that goes with the union, and they're going to drop them all. In fact, most of, if not all of, our inspectors are not plumbers. Which can you believe that? It's true though. Most of them aren't plumbers because they can't afford it. They won't pay them plumbers rate. Our city won't pay the plumbing inspectors plumbing rates. So they have like building guys, like building engineers, like power engineers, which sounds impressive, but it ain't. Just saying, this is no slag on my building dudes whom I love and appreciate. But, I am a third-class power engineer. I took the whole course, which was online, multiple choice, and then I had to meet with a gal who was 23 years old in a boiler room, and this is exactly how this went down. The very first question she asked me is, if there's a problem in this boiler room, what do you do? And I'm like, okay, well, go through this, go through this, go through this, go through this. She's like, no, that's way too complicated. What are you talking about? I'm like, oh, well, I'm trying to simplify it even more. Well, we could shut off the power to the boiler. She's like, no. She was visibly upset. Said, no, you call a certified plumber. And I was like, I'm a master plumber. And she's like, why are you taking this course? Because this building thinks that I need my power engineering course. She's like, oh my hell. Signed the form and gave it to me. So, I am technically a third class power engineer. And I suppose I could become a first class, which is like 18 months of online school or something, which I'm not going to do. I don't even know why I went down that road. If you can't tell that these things aren't scripted by now, they're not scripted. Well, where was I going? Oh, so none of our city inspectors are actual plumbers. They're able to play them lower. The same thing that plumbing companies do now when they call them techs. If you are being sent a tech, you are not being sent a plumber. I mean, that's the language. Words mean something. Words matter. It's words that distinguish us from the animals. Words. If all we did was make sounds, we would be animals. But because we can articulate, and I can say stuff on here, and you can understand it 10,000 miles away, we are different than the animals. Don't forget that. So, basically, all of our inspectors in Calgary are technicians, which is terrifying. I do know, because I've talked to Turbo, that out in his neck of the woods, they're doing self-inspections, which makes sense to me, because if you think that an inspection removes any responsibility from you, like, yo, I got it inspected, so I'm now cleared. It doesn't clear you of anything. The city will not accept any liability for past or failed inspections. All the city wants is the permit money. That is it. So my prediction is, in the next decade or so, most of those cities or towns are going to remove those inspection services. They're going to collect the permit fees because they want the revenue, and say that the tradesmen now need to self-inspect. That's where this is going. That's absolutely where this is going. And so it does mean, what I think that means is that your insurance rates are going to go up, because of course the insurance companies are going to take advantage of that and go, oh well, now that that's changed, like nothing's truly changed except some logistics. I am still 100% responsible for every job I do. I've told that to my boys. When they were apprentices, whatever you do, I'm responsible for it, because I'm the ticketed plumber backing all this stuff up. Now that they're ticketed plumbers, they, share some of that responsibility. But if you know anything about lawyers and insurance and suing people, they go where the money is. So they're not going to go after the boys. They're going to come after me. And then if they can, they're going to go after the manufacturers of whatever product I installed that was defective. And that those manufacturers, even though they say they love you, will turn around and say that you installed it wrong. That's how this game works. Don't be fooled. This is not, Bob Baker fairies and rainbows. This is Bob Baker, and my thoughts, not yours, is real and as cutting, as brutal as it gets. So that's what's going to happen. And when it happens to you, you think you heard it here first. Bob was right. That's what the cities are going to do. They're going to start removing those services, but they're still going to want the permits. Which means that you're going to have to know exactly what the F you're doing. If you don't, you're going to end up in court. And if you don't do what I said previously and have a good litigation lawyer, you are SOL, my friend. And there ain't nothing. There ain't nobody on God's green earth that's going to save you. Not even Jesus himself will save you from those vultures. I'm telling you. So, if you're going to run your own show, you better have, what is it now, $5 million in insurance. That's what I got. You got to have a fantastic accountant that hates the government. You got to have a $700 an hour at minimum litigation lawyer. Doesn't mean you need to use them, but when you need to use them, you freaking need to use them. And take a couple business courses. And prepare to self-inspect, because that's what's coming. That's where this is going. You're going to do a job, you're going to take a couple of pictures, and you're going to sign some big, long, a pre-printed form with your name and your ticket number saying, I approve of this installation. That's where it's going. So I do think, and know what's happening in this country anyway, that the inspection services are on their way up. They are the dinosaurs. So if you're thinking about going into to work for the city as an inspector, don't, because you've got, I don't know, 5 or 6 years left on this. I do think that third-party building inspections is a growing industry, and I know lots of guys on here that do that sort of stuff and do great work, and I do think that that is a growth opportunity for them to sort of spin out and say, listen, we'll provide those services for a fee and make sure that your plumber and your electrician and your framer is doing everything right. It's pretty tough to know all that stuff and be specialized in all that stuff and know it well enough to catch everything, but as our model goes, if we can't do it, it can't be done. So it is possible, but it's just another opportunity to grow and get smarter and make more money. My thoughts, not yours. Have an excellent day, people. Good luck out there.